We should talk about something more positive too.
Lighthearted?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the federal government?
No, not at all. So Jesse, what's wrong with the state of the world right now?
Oh, I mean,
How's it going?
pretty good.
Who are you again?
I'm Jesse.
Jesse.
I'm Jesse Bethea, writer for Columbus Underground.
Good to meet you.
Yeah,
I've heard of you. Most notably for your amazing work on the North Markets.
Yes. Yeah.
The great. I shouldn't call it the North Market Graveyard. The Old North Graveyard.
The Old North Graveyard.
Yes.
Currently located under the North Market.
Yes, and under the entire block.
Yeah, under what is soon to be the Merchant Building.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's fun. What's been striking your fancy more recently? I know you've been covering the
What, Sanctuary Night?
Sanctuary Night.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one kind of snuck up on me because I first heard about Sanctuary Night in February because I was at a community meeting in Franklinton for a completely different topic.
Yeah.
Which they never actually ended up discussing at that meeting. And so that's when I first learned that there was this shelter in Franklinton for victims of sex abuse,
Yeah.
or sex trafficking, that has drawn a lot of negative attention from the neighbors that live in that area.
Sure.
Because specifically because of the men that seem to linger around there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And there's been lots of complaints about criminal activities and nuisance behaviors, and it's gotten to the point now where the city attorney office has taken action.
Yeah.
And they were sued last week by the city, and this week they appear to have agreed to a court order to sort of rein in some of those behaviors.
Yeah.
And do what they can at least to.
I imagine it's gonna be tough because you want to provide like a safe, like a harm reduction space, but you're still going to see what's unsightly behavior for a lot of the general public.
Sure.
And so how do you kind of maintain a balance of those two worlds?
Yeah, and I think what members of the community, the Franklinton neighborhood, point out quite regularly at these meetings and in the op-eds they've been writing is that there are drop-in centers similar to Sanctuary Night in Franklinton and on the west side that don't seem to have the same problem.
Yeah.
And so it's just sort of a question of like, is there anything you can do to mitigate this a little bit?
Yeah.
So we'll see. They've got their instructions from the court, and in July they will appear before the court again for a status conference to see how they're complying and make sure that they're doing everything they need to do.
Yeah. Well, these kind of stories are also like very of the moment too. So I'm sure everything we're talking about right now is like completely out of date.
Right. Yeah. No. And that's kind of how.
So again, link to more stuff.
That's kind of how I felt too when I first heard about this, because it was this community meeting with Zach Klein.
Yeah.
Where the Franklinton area neighbors were sort of bringing up all the concerns they had and the problems they were having. But at the time, I was like, I don't really know if this is going to lead to anything.
Yeah.
And so I was almost surprised my own self when the city announced that they were going to move forward with legal proceedings.
I will say that it feels like the city attorney's office has really been cracking down on a lot of like drug houses and like nuisance sites. And we get the press releases, and it's like every other week there's something like being shut down or lawsuits filed, that sort of thing.
And at that community meeting, there were neighbors and residents who were pointing out, it's one in particular who's saying, Zach, you almost shut down the bar I work at for the same behaviors that we're describing the Sanctuary Night. So if you're going to go after the nuisance bars and the nuisance clubs, then you got to do it for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
interesting. We should talk about something more positive too.
Lighthearted?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the federal government?
No, not at all. So Jesse, what's wrong with the state of the world right now?
Oh, I mean, it's these QR codes for menus. That if we got rid of those, I think a lot of things would get better.
Okay, all right. It's weird because QR codes, like, they tried to make it a thing like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And then it was like, why do we need an uglier barcode?
No, yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and it's like, oh, there's a reason to use these.
And I'm half joking. Like, this is not what we need to be
This is your subway take, your hot take?
It is. This is my hot take. And I frankly, I truly believe it is ableist and it's ageist to force people in the city to park via QR code. I genuinely do believe that, because I've had more than one time I've had a person of a certain age kind of look at me and show me the app and be like, how do I make this work? And
yes.
Like, I don't know, man. If I don't know, then I don't know how you're expecting.
Is that any more difficult a challenge than expecting people to have the right kind of coins?
I mean, if you just had all of the options in one place, then it wouldn't be a problem for anybody. But
yes.
Instead, you seem to. It's like, no, you must have a credit card. You must have an iPhone. You must be able to.
Yeah, but like
you can cut all this out because this is just old man yelling at clouds.
No. This is like the best part. But the general populace, like the number of people without smartphones, is like such a fraction of the population.
That's fair, but I think people without smartphones deserve to park the car.
Sure.
Without getting tipped.
Well, the kiosk takes other things.
There's the kiosk. Yes. If you can find it.
Yeah.
If it's working that day.
Well, also, do you remember when QR codes first came out? You needed to download an app specific that was a QR code reader to use them.
Right.
And I think that's why. And now it's like you just bust out your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There. Are we still doing the interview, or is it just me yelling about stuff?
No, this is. David just arrived. What TV shows or movies are you watching these days? I always have to ask.
I can just evangelize about Sinners for the next 30 minutes.
Okay.
I've seen that movie twice now at Gateway.
Okay, nice.
For your local independent cinema.
I just bought tickets to see Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd's movie Friendship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited
at the Gateway in like a few weeks.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even really like horror movies that much, but I went in, I saw it again twice, and it's just like, you know how movies kind of suck now? Like most movies are bad.
No.
This is sort of like if you were like, what if we made a good movie? That's what Sinners is.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of good movies, but they just fly under the radar.
That's fair.
Like everyone gravitates. Yeah.
This one felt like when I was at both times I've gone to see it, it's been a full theater.
Yes.
It's been an experience, an audience experience.
Yes.
And it feels like Barbenheimer a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say like the overlap of like big mainstream, like able to get the attention of the general populace and good movie. The Venn diagram doesn't always overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually the big theatrical release is garbage, but there's a lot of little indie films that are actually good.
Yeah. This one feels like it's a movie that's making a splash.
Yeah.
And I would say it's the best movie of the year, but that's not giving it enough credit because there haven't been good movies this year. So.
Yeah. Well, it's also still.
Yeah, it's
April.
still May. I get it.
Yeah, it's May. It's May. Whenever
is this just me? I can just be a combative sort of interview.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that, or do you want me to?
No, I need you to agree with me on everything.
Okay,
yes.
Because I can do both.
Who do I look like, Bill Maher? Did you see the Trump interview where he's like about the tattoos, the MS-13? No. Yeah.
I try not to listen to him talk.
Yeah, the guy's like, no, that was fun. He's like, no, it actually said MS-13 on his. And it's like, no, that was added on after the fact.
And he was like, why did I hire you?
Yeah. Trump's like, can't you just agree with me? The guy's like, we'll agree to disagree and move on. He's like, can't you just say yes?
Well, yeah, I mean, we just had an election where a major issue was, should an 80-plus-year-old man be president?
Yes.
And we answered that with, yeah, just a different one.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
Yeah. The local elections, we just narrowed our city council folks. Yeah. What'd you think of that? Nobody showed up.
I voted.
Yeah. It's like an 8% turnout.
I'm not going to say who I voted for.
Okay.
But I did vote.
Okay.
And,
did you vote for someone with the same name because of the same name?
Yes.
There was a Jesse.
I voted.
There was a Jesse on the ballot. I get it. If someone named Walker ran for city council, I would
name Jesse.
That's fair. Yeah. No, I mean it's interesting. It's a crowded field. That and school board.
Yeah.
A lot of people running.
Well, and that one I think is probably not that any of the local elections are getting a lot of attention right now, but if any of them is going to, it should be school board, given all the nonsense that we've had to deal with in the last.
Gazoon tight.
Sorry about that.
No, but I did love the fact that there's so many people doing this because when city council changed structure last year, I was expecting like a floodgate to be open to people running, and it was kind of subdued.
You got to cut this out because I forgot his name. From Confluence Cast.
Tim Fulton.
Tim Fulton. You got to cut that out because.
Shout out to Tim.
Shout out to Tim.
This will not be cut out.
Remembered your name. Yeah, Tim saw me at a pizza place a few months ago and got really excited. Came up to me. It was like, I'm running for city council. I was like, that's great, man.
Okay.
Hope that goes well.
What was the pizza place? You don't remember the name of that either?
I don't remember that. You think I remember anything from the last?
Okay, all right.
I don't remember Tim's name.
Something more fun, something more casual. Top.
Is this going well?
Top 3 pizza places in Columbus.
Top 3 pizza places.
Top 3. Jesse's list.
Top would be Hound Dogs. Number 1 is Hound Dogs.
Okay. Solid choice.
Number 2, Mikey's.
Okay.
I understand that's kind of a vanilla take, but
I'd say it's more controversial.
Yeah.
Some people love it. Some people they're divisive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, I'm gonna go. I live in Hilltop now, and when you need pizza, it's Josie's. So I'm gonna go to Josie's.
Yeah.
I'm eating Josie's all the time.
Great list. Have you tried Bobby Joe's?
I've not.
They're new West Side startup doing pop-ups.
Yeah.
They dropped some pizza off at our office, so I got to give Bobby Joe's a shout out. I know they're going to be at Sweeney's.
Okay.
In the near future.
I like Sweeney's.
Yeah, great spot. Nice. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't talk about anything. I just know I'm getting. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry.
Nice. It's good.